Hi everyone, this is Adi from tarotforlifecoaching.com, and this is a monthly reading for the month of March for Taurus. So this is a monthly reading for the sign of Taurus for March 2017. I'm just going to use a combination of cards again. This is the Tarot of the Old Path, and I use some cards, some oracle cards, just to give that extra depth to the reading. So let's have a look at what March, the overall energy for March for Taurus. And just going to pull an angel card. Sorry. Like that. And also I'm going to use this month an oracle card. It's called the Soul Singing Oracle Cards. And we're going to pull one of those. So it is March time. We want to see spring coming. We want to have some positive energy coming in. At least here in the northern hemisphere. Right, let's have a look, Taurus, at your card. So we start with the Two of Pentacles. Then we move to the Two of Cauldrons in reverse. I'm just going to move them over a little bit. Oh, other way I need to go. So you can see the cards. Okay, and then we go to the Eight of Rods. We have the Two of Rods. We've got the twos, lots of twos. And we move on to the King of Rods. Rods also refers to wands. We've got the Fool in reverse. We have the Guide. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. Very nice. So your reading starts off with the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is a card that very clearly is about juggling your energies. It is about, the pentacles refer to a material energy, something practical, something that tangible. So you're juggling, you're starting the month of juggling something, feeling like you're juggling life in some way, some aspects, having different things, having a lot on, keeping all your plates spinning. It is about being quite a busy bee at the start of the month, having a lot on with different things you're trying to keep in balance. It may also be that you are waiting news. And if that news comes in, then it would be usually seen as positive news with the Two of Pentacles upright. So this card is combined with the Two of Cauldrons, and cauldrons being cups in other decks, in reverse. And normally the Two of Cauldrons or the Two of Cups is very much about a soul connection, feeling very connected to somebody, beautiful love connection there, or to something or somebody. Some can also be loving what you're doing, really connecting with activities that you're doing. So there's a real bond there between you. There's a real attraction there in terms of feeling totally in tune with whatever you're doing or with whom you are. And it feels like you are initially busy, so busy with life that you find it very difficult to have that connection with somebody else or something, that you're just thinking very practical and very organized at the beginning of the month. But in fact, you may well be neglecting the emotional side of you, not feeling emotionally connected. at the same time. And it could also mean that you just don't feel that, well, that you feel like you have a lot to do, but you've lost that connection with life in a way. Like you've got too much on, and your emotions have to take backseat in a way. Like you put your mind on hold, as it were, just to get on with it, whilst you're shutting out part of your emotional connection. That's how it feels. And sometimes we have to do that. It's not always a negative thing. We just have to, sometimes you have to put your own feelings aside and just be very practical and get on with it, because it feels like otherwise you lose track, lose focus, or lose something altogether. In fact, you just have to sometimes put your emotional life in the background, and this is what I'm feeling you're doing, just being very focused initially. And what we're seeing then when the month moves on is the Eight of Rods comes in. The Eight of Rods is a lot of broomsticks coming in, and this card often refers to messages coming in, and you don't have to do anything for that. These come in, you don't have to work hard for it, they just happen out of the blue. They are quick, this is quick energy, and it just arrives unexpectedly, without warning. You get this information coming in that you need to find your way forward. And just checking it with the other cards, because you are looking for a way forward, and you have been juggling so much, and it feels like you may want to connect again. Definitely may want to connect again to your emotional life and to life itself, really. So the Two of Rods is showing you that there is a choice to be made, there is a path, and that you do need to forward your vision into the future to really start thinking longer term in terms of where you want to end up. You don't want to make short-term decisions that you're going to regret later. It's really about getting your head around where you want to go in the longer term, what you want to do in the longer term, how do you feel connected. And this news that's coming in will help you with that. There's new ways forward, new information coming in. So whilst you're starting off in a bit of a rut in the beginning of the month, just doing your thing and feeling a bit disconnected, all of a sudden news will come in. And this may play out in so many different ways, obviously, because there's different people watching with different backgrounds and different scenarios that are prominent in their life. So it is not going to play out exactly the same for everybody, but just pick up the energy as it fits you, because there is a sense of being stuck, being disconnected from your emotions, and then getting news and finding a new way forward. There's a really strong energy there, particularly because it's followed by the King of Rods. And the King of Rods is a very powerful, dynamic energy. It's a very strong, forward, controlling, but in a positive way, energy to move forward, but also to feel established, to all of a sudden know where you're going with this. All of a sudden it's become clear, and you start to feel the king of your castle again. It feels like you have that, you understand it again. It's falling into place, but you do need to make that initial decision of where you want to go, or to have clarity about it. It doesn't mean you have to straight away take steps, but there is something about getting your head clear about it. And this card is also asking you to be careful not to make quick decisions. So the King of Rods really wants to go forward, and the Fool is very much about going forward, but the Fool in reverse also wants you to reflect a little bit on the practicalities of it. Normally the Fool dives in head first and doesn't think about it and just goes off. And there's a beauty in it also. But in this situation, this month, the cards are saying to you that would not be a good idea. There's a lot of energy. It becomes clearer. It becomes a way forward. It's much clearer. But it doesn't want you to jump in head first. It just wants you to be balanced in the way you're doing things, in the way you're taking actions. Impulsivity doesn't feel right, even though the energy is there. There might be a drive to say, okay, this is what I'm doing, now I found it, I want to go forward with that. But the Fool is really saying, just take the take a little step back, do reflect a little bit, don't just dive in without thinking. And the next card is the guide in this deck, so I'm going to stick with that. It just says that you have to be very in tune. There are different energies playing out. There is angelic energies, there are devil energies in the background there, and you're dealing with maybe a slightly tricky situation. It could be interpreted in many different ways, and you may hear your mind coming up with ideas, you know, with thoughts of, is this correct? Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to feel guilty? Different words are coming in, and then, you know, the angelic energies will say something completely the opposite. So it might feel quite divisive in your head in terms of which way am I going, what actions am I taking. And that makes sense also with having to take time with the Fool card. So not to dive in straight away. Do take your time to reflect on these things, all the aspects of what you're dealing with. Because in some ways you may be dealing with a slightly tricky situation, and it may not be that easy. Say, for instance, if you want to take a new path forward with the Two of Rods, and you've got all the energy, and you make the wrong decision, then you could, well, you know, have judgment, have guilt. You just have to make sure that you do the right thing, as always, isn't it? And always listen to your own intuition as well, because the progression you're making actually is very, very beautiful. You end up with the Nine of Pentacles. If you do this calmly and you make the right choices, you end up with the Nine of Pentacles, which is a beautiful card of achievement, of abundance, of being very settled, having the resources you need. Obviously, Pentacles again refer to, it could be money, it could be assets or property, but it feels like you have moved on from something, and then you end up in a situation where you do feel settled. And it's a beautiful card to end the month on. So all the hard work, because you're going through a little bit of a process internally in terms of, news comes in, am I going the right way? And having to think about it, having to take time, maybe being judged a little bit by other people or other situations, and just having to be very strong in yourself that you're making the right decisions for you, not for anybody else, and go with your own instincts and your own inner hunches, and then ending up in a situation where you feel like, yes, I feel totally happy with that situation I've achieved. There's a little bit more to achieve with this Nine of Pentacles. It's not right at the top yet, but it's pretty good already, you know. So it is a beautiful sort of active month for you in terms of progression with something, coming from a place of feeling a bit stuck and emotionally discontented, to a place where you're going to feel completely settled through a decision and some information that's coming in this month. So that sounds very exciting, Taurus. And then we're looking at your angel card, which says friendship. And as it is next to your messages, I feel like maybe the information that's going to come in to you, that's going to help you, is through a friendship, through a friend or somebody you feel close to. Could also be your family member, of course, but it's the quality of the relationship, you know, the friends helping each other really, and helping each other forward. There's a strong feel of that. And so the soul singing oracle card is saying awakening. It is time to raise your vibration up to a level. Awaken your senses to all the gifts that await you. Shine the light within you, bright, and raise your consciousness. Rejoice in your uniqueness. So I'll read it again. It's time to raise your vibration up to a level. Awaken your senses to all of the gifts that await you. Shine the light within you, bright, and raise your consciousness. Rejoice in your uniqueness. So, lovely, lovely message. Awakening. So, becoming more clear where you're going, becoming more clear about who to connect to, your friendships, and allowing your light to shine. That really relates to me to the 9 of Pentacles. So that you raise your consciousness and rejoice in your uniqueness. So it starts off with being a bit disillusioned with maybe love connections, and then being actually very strong as an individual and having a lot to give there and to share. So I don't want to keep repeating myself, so I feel like that's the overall message. The only thing what I'm going to do is the overall energy of the card deck, the reading. And you again, I've just had it as well with Aries, have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords as your overall energy of the month. And Queen of Swords, very much a strong lady with very good thoughts, very strong way forward, wants to achieve things, but using words, intellectual ability to do that, clear mind, and that is how she's dealing with your overall energy for the month of March. And it just feels to me that is, you need to keep a clear head during the second and the third week of March. It is about not being swayed, keeping your inner guidance quite clear, allowing to listen to your inner guidance, and be very rational. Be very rational about it, because then you will make the right judgments, and you will be guided also, and you will then feel very settled by the end of the month. Okay, that is your reading, Taurus. So I hope this is helpful for you. Please remember that this is a general reading, so everybody will have different scenarios in their lives where this may apply to. And if you wanted to have a personal reading specifically to your situation, then do contact me at tarotforlifecoaching.com. Links are below on the video. And please like and subscribe if you feel it resonates with you. And I hope to see you very soon. Have a lovely month and take care.